Well, tried to fish again this morning with some food, which was a waste of time because they've just left it for the skimmer. Temperature still very cold. Fish are all huddled up around the filter, the pump there. So I presume the pump is giving them some warmth. They're still not eating. It's the 24th of April today, and the temperatures are still only 12.1, although the sun is out. It's nice and bright, but just no heat. So all the fish look as if they're sick, but they all keep swimming around. Like I say, over the past few days I've checked the fish completely. I've had each one out the pond and I've done a scrape on them, and there's nothing at all on the fish. I've also taken a sample of the bottom of the pond, and I've also taken a sample out of the skimmer, and there's no bugs at all in the pond. Of course, this is the time of year when flukes start coming, but I normally dose my pond during the winter, half doses November, December, January and February, and I found I never get any infections on the fish, parasites on the fish at all throughout the year. And I put it down to doing the winter dosing. And I've also found that putting salt in the pond also helps, because any bugs that are regular on fish just don't seem to stand up against salt. I know people around me have put malachite green in and other chemicals in the pond to get rid of infestations, and it's not worked. See, the fish are quite lively. It's just that they go into that corner. You see now I'm here, they know I'm here, and I think they're going to get fed, so they've all come out of that corner. But they'll go back in there once they realise that I'm not putting any food in for them, because the last food I put in they didn't eat anyway. And the skimmer there is still going around picking it up. Got a few small little fish in the pond, rescued ones that I got. That one over here is so small. I'm really surprised that it survived all basically the coldest part of the winter. The big fish are quite happy. As I was saying, salt is my number one go-to. Should I think anything is happening in the pond and there's any parasites around, it seems to cure all the problems, and it's a lot better than using the ready-made chemicals. The parasites have built up immunity to most of them, but they don't have immunity to salt. So fluke will be the main culprit that's going to be starting to come onto the fish as the water warms up, and most people will reach for the bottles of malachite green and all the other chemicals. I have them in the shed, as I said. I keep them on standby. I've got Fluke M, which I like best, and I've got all the other stuff, all the different bugs, parasites that the fish might catch. But over the past few years I've had no problems at all with parasites, and as I've said several times in the past, I put that down to half dosing during the winter, which I believe kills off all the parasites on the fish and in the pond when the pond is basically dormant, and that gives me a completely clear spring and summer. Blanket weed, that's something else that I really don't get any of. You don't know what you can see there, but the pond's completely clear of any algae or blanket weed, and I put that down again to use in bleach, the food grade. The blackbird there coming and getting the food that was on the pond, that's gone. Using the bleach in the pond, I use 1 litre to 1,000 gallons of water, and I find that works perfectly well. Just putting that in just once every 3 months literally kills off the algae. Of course, you can't use that if you have plants in the pond, because it would kill them as well, and you can't use it if you've got some form of soakaway or some other form of plants on the external side of the pond that you're pumping water through, because it would kill them as well. Blackbird's back again for some more of the fish food. Obviously it's got young somewhere close. I think they're behind the shed. All I need now is warmer water and some sun. I think I'm going to have to look at some form of way of heating the pond up through the winter, because the weather is getting colder and colder, and the cold weather is staying for longer. So I'm going to find some way to insulate the pond. The blackbird's back again. I get the food out of the skimmer and I put it on the side there for the birds, and the blackbird comes down all the time, takes it away. The other good advantage of the blackbird is it keeps my apple tree, pear tree and plum tree free of bugs, because it goes onto the branches and takes off anything that might be on the leaves. So it does work for me. In return it gets fed. Okay, so that's all for today. It's quite cold, as I've said today again. I don't know where the sun is, but they say it's going to get hotter on Saturday and Sunday, and then cold again.